The Greek Dark Age, a mysterious epoch stretching from 1200 to 800 BCE. Born from the ashes of the Mycenaean civilization's collapse, this era earned its somber epithet due to the absence of contemporary written records, veiling its secrets in shadows. The Mycenaeans, inheritors of the Minoan legacy, erected grand palaces in urban enclaves like Turins, Pylos, and Mycenae itself. These bastions regulated trade, harbored scribes chronicling the cultural evolution, and replaced the Minoans as Mediterranean powerhouses. When the Mycenaean edifice crumbled, it wasn't merely a civilization that fell. The literate elite, architects of a socio-economic paradigm, vanished. Scholars Christopher Scarr and Brian Fagan unraveled the enigma, proposing that the Dark Age wasn't a wholesale replacement of the Greek population, but rather a decapitation of Mycenaean society. The aristocrats, with their palaces and clay tablets, succumbed, leaving behind uneducated villagers reliant on oral traditions and a village-based economy. Yet, the Dark Ages weren't an abyss devoid of light. Characterized by political fragmentation, trade collapse, economic decline, and a cultural ebb, this era witnessed a decline in art, wealth, and the written word. The Greek Dark Age wasn't absolute darkness. It was a dimming of the vibrant cultural lamp. The culprit initially fingered was the Dorian invasion, deemed responsible for the obliteration of Mycenaean glory and a 4th century subjugation of Greek culture. However, this theory has been discarded, with the invasion now seen as a migration. The once Dark Age is illuminated by the understanding that Greek culture persisted, albeit at a diminished level. The Greek Dark Age was a consequence of the broader Bronze Age collapse that rattled civilizations across the Mediterranean and Near East. Unlike others, the Greeks weathered the storm, emerging from the shadows into the Archaic period, marking the advent of an alphabetic script and the rise of the famed city-states. Mycenaean civilization, with over 100 urban centers, laid the foundation. The palace, a nexus of luxury, stood in stark contrast to the humble village with its mud brick houses. The palace, exemplified by Mycenae's cyclopean walls, was a testament to grandeur, its megaron adorned with frescoes depicting an era's opulence. The village, simple and unadorned, housed the silent whispers of a forgotten prosperity. The twilight of the Bronze Age descended upon the realms of the Mediterranean and Near East, birthing an era of shadows, the Bronze Age collapse. Around 1200 BCE, a symphony of calamities orchestrated the rapid decline of civilizations. Earthquakes shook foundations, climate change ushered in drought and famine, internal rebellions echoed through the class strata, and the sea peoples, harbingers of doom, invaded shores. This tumult orchestrated the fall of the Mycenaean civilization, plunging the region into the enigmatic Greek Dark Age. In the wake of this cataclysm, political instability loomed, exacerbated by the potential clash between the affluent palace dwellers and the struggling villagers. Greed, the seed of conflict, urged the rulers of the Aegean Bronze Age to seek more, transcending the horizon in pursuit of potential plunder. The result, triumphs marred by tragedy, as the grand palaces and production centers of the Mycenaeans crumbled between 1230 and 1100 BCE. Scholars, like Bettany Hughes, point to the insatiable desire for wealth as the prime catalyst for Mycenaean collapse. A civilization birthed in self-contained grandeur succumbed to the intoxication of greed, peering beyond its borders for more. Triumphs morphed into tragedy as the great palaces were abandoned or razed, marking a sudden pause in the vibrancy of ancient Greece. In the ensuing silence, villages took center stage, their fate guided by strong leaders. The Bronze Age collapse brought an end to monumental stone structures, leaving behind remnants inhabited by those who survived the storm. The relationship between dwindling agricultural production and declining population remains debated, but a generalization emerges. The scarcity of foodstuffs precipitated population decline, disrupting the delicate balance of sustenance. Hesiod, a poetic chronicler of the 8th century BCE, unveils the social paradigm of the Dark Age. Village life revolved around a strong man, the embodiment of authority, chosen by the band he led. If deemed unworthy, he faced replacement, a system that germinated during the Dark Age and would later blossom into concepts of kingship and democracy. At this time, however, there were no grand cities to rule, no armies to command. The village leader's role shifted toward defense coordination or raid mobilization against neighboring villages. The pendulum of time swung, and by the 10th century BCE, subtle shifts emerged. The village, once a crucible of authority, witnessed the first whispers of change. The Dark Age, a crucible of cultural dormancy, hinted at the resurgence that lay ahead. Amidst the lingering shadows of the Greek Dark Age, a beacon of resilience emerged in the form of Lefkandi on the island of Euboea. Discovered in the 1960s, this ancient Greek settlement, dating from approximately 1200 to 950 BCE, defied the pervasive narrative of collapse. The graves of Lefkandi whispered tales of trade and prosperity, linking Euboea to distant lands such as Cyprus, Egypt, and the Levant. The centerpiece of Lefkandi's archaeological tapestry was the hero's grave, a testament to the enduring spirit of a community seemingly untouched by the turmoil. Around 950 BCE, a powerful chieftain, and perhaps his wife, presided over Lefkandi. Their rise to prominence in a society where the concept of aristocracy had faded into the mists of time remained shrouded in mystery. Some families may have clung to the remnants of Mycenaean wealth, while others, through control of essential religious rituals, ascended to elite status. These elites became the architects of Greece's emerging political forms, their values echoing through the Dark Age and resonating in the epics of Homer. In the hero's grave, the male occupant, cremated and adorned with a sword, rested alongside lavish grave goods and a bronze emperor from Cyprus. The woman, buried with grace, wore jewelry and wielded an ivory-handled knife. This sepulchre, with its echoes of Mycenaean opulence, marked Lefkandi as an anomaly, a haven that weathered the storm or rose swiftly from its aftermath. As much of Greece mourned the loss of the Mycenaean splendor, Lefkandi danced on the edge of a new golden age. By 950 BCE, the tales of heroes and gods, woven into the fabric of oral tradition, found a voice in writing. Rediscovering this lost art through contact with Phoenician merchants, the Greeks adopted a Phoenician alphabet, infusing it with vowels and birthing a tool that would carve the stories of their past. Homer, a blind poet from Ionia, immortalized the heroes, Agamemnon, Achilles, Odysseus, in the verses of the Iliad and Odyssey. Hesiod, a poet of the 8th century BCE, gazed into the past through the ages of man. He lamented the current race of iron, a far cry from the noble demigods of yore. The Dark Age was indeed an era of iron, where iron itself replaced bronze, and Hesiod's words painted a portrait of toil and sorrow. Yet, within the crucible of the Dark Age, seeds of change were sown. Ceramics, once marred by decline, witnessed a renaissance in craftsmanship after 950 BCE. Textile production, agriculture, writing, and trade experienced a renewed vigor, breathing life into the dormant landscape. The social paradigm of inequitable wealth and power, reminiscent of the Mycenaean age, began to stir again. The tension between chiefs and peasants escalated, forging a path towards the Greek polis, the city-state, where kings derived their power from the gods. As the Dark Age cast its final shadows, a new era dawned, the archaic period. The role of chiefs evolved into kings, ruling by divine will, and laying the groundwork for the democratic ideals that would echo through the annals of Greek history. The Dark Age, once a race of iron, yielded to a race of resilience, cultural renewal, and the timeless pursuit of a shared destiny. The echoes of Lefkandi reverberated through the ages, an indomitable testament to the enduring spirit of the Greek people.